I just want to see my balance, she whispered, clutching a worn debit card as if it were her entire life. The millionaire standing beside her smirked, until the number on the screen wiped the smile off his face and changed both their destinies forever. If this story touched your heart, show your love, like, share, and comment your thoughts. Alyssa Carter had never imagined her life would shrink down to a single plastic card with fading edges. The card was old, scratched, and slightly bent, just like her spirit. She stood inside the grand lobby of Everway National Bank, a place where wealthy businessmen walked like they owned the world and security guards rarely glanced at people who looked tired. Alyssa's fingers trembled as she held the card close to her chest. Her hair was messy from the bus ride, her shoes worn from long walks, but her eyes, they still held a softness that refused to die. Today she wasn't here for a loan, or charity, or anything extraordinary. All she wanted was to check her balance. Behind her, people in expensive suits frowned impatiently. In front of her stood a man who looked like wealth itself. He wore a navy blue tailored suit, shiny shoes, a platinum watch that probably cost more than her yearly income. His name was Nathaniel Reed, a well-known millionaire real estate investor, though Alyssa had no idea who he was. She took a deep breath and stepped forward when her turn came. The bank teller smiled politely. "Yes, miss. How can I help you today?" Alyssa swallowed. "Ma'am, I just want to see my balance." Before the teller could respond, a soft laugh came from the man beside her. A slow, mocking laugh. Nathaniel Reed. He leaned slightly toward her and said, "You stood in this long line for that. Don't you have online banking?" Alyssa forced a small smile. "My phone broke 2 weeks ago. I can't afford a new one." Nathaniel shrugged, amused. "Well, at least checking your balance is free." People behind them chuckled. Alyssa lowered her gaze, embarrassed. The teller politely motioned for her to insert the card. Alyssa did, praying the machine wouldn't decline her request. She typed her PIN slowly, carefully. Her heart beat so loudly she could hear it in her ears. Behind her, Nathaniel crossed his arms, still smirking. Then, the screen loaded. And in that small second, everything changed. The smirk on Nathaniel's face froze. His eyebrows lifted. His breath caught. Because glowing on the screen was a number he didn't expect. A number no one expected. $712,846.19. A murmur rose in the line behind them. Alyssa blinked in shock. Her mouth fell open. What is that?" The teller leaned forward, equally stunned. "Miss Carter, it seems this is your updated balance." Alyssa shook her head. "No, there must be a mistake. I work at a small diner. I take double shifts. I have 3 part-time jobs. I barely survive. I've never even seen that kind of money." Nathaniel's smirk was completely gone now. Something heavy replaced it, surprise, confusion, and a sting of guilt. "Excuse me," he said to Alyssa, his tone suddenly different, respectful. "Is that really your account?" I think so," she whispered. The teller clicked around the screen. "Yes, this is your account. There has been a recent deposit, from your late father's estate." Alyssa froze. "My father? But he left when I was 10. I never saw him again." The teller nodded sympathetically. "It appears he passed away last month. His lawyer must have been trying to contact you." Alyssa's legs weakened. She gripped the edge of the counter. All her life, she had worked nonstop, barely making rent, skipping meals so her younger brother, Jeremy, could eat, juggling stress, tears, and responsibilities no one her age should have faced. And suddenly, she had more money than she ever thought possible. Nathaniel stepped forward slightly. "Are you okay? Do you need a seat?" Alyssa looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time, she noticed the humanity in his eyes. The arrogance had melted into concern. "I don't know what to feel," she whispered, wiping a tear that escaped without warning. Nathaniel cleared his throat softly. "I shouldn't have laughed earlier. I'm sorry." His apology was sincere. Alyssa nodded faintly, still overwhelmed. People in the bank were whispering, but the teller protected Alyssa's privacy as much as possible. She handed Alyssa a printed statement. "That money is legally yours," the teller said. "And there's more. Your father left a letter with the estate lawyer. He asked us to tell you to visit the office at your earliest convenience." Alyssa's lips parted. A letter. Nathaniel looked at her with growing curiosity and something else, admiration. "Do you have someone who can go with you?" he asked gently. Alyssa shook her head. "My brother is in school. I don't have anyone else." Nathaniel hesitated for a moment. Then he asked, "Would you be comfortable if I went with you? I know I'm a stranger, but you shouldn't have to walk into something like this alone." For a brief moment, Alyssa considered saying no. But something about Nathaniel felt honest now. Maybe it was the way he apologized. Maybe it was how he stepped back when she seemed overwhelmed. Maybe it was fate. She nodded slowly. "Okay." They left the bank together. Nathaniel walked slightly behind, giving her space. It was a strange pairing, the wealthy businessman and the exhausted diner worker, but something about the moment felt right. Inside the lawyer's office, they were greeted warmly. The lawyer, Mr. Wilson, handed Alyssa a sealed envelope. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter, edges yellowed, ink faded slightly. "My dearest Alyssa. I know I failed you. I know I left you at a time you needed me most. Life took me in directions I couldn't control, and by the time I wanted to come back, guilt chained me in silence. I spent the last decade trying to rebuild my life, hoping one day I could leave you something, not to repay what I broke, but to ease the life I burdened. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. And you deserve the chance I never gave you. This money is yours. Use it for a better life. For your dreams. For your brother. For a future where you never have to wonder if you're enough, because you are, Alyssa. You always were. Forgive me if you can. Dad." Alyssa pressed the letter against her chest, and her tears soaked through the paper. Nathaniel looked away respectfully, giving her privacy. When she was ready, she whispered, "I forgave you a long time ago." Outside, Nathaniel walked her to the bus stop. "What will you do now?" he asked gently. Alyssa took a deep breath, one that felt like her first real breath in years. "I'll get a better place for me and Jeremy," she said softly. "I'll go back to school. Maybe start my own bakery one day. I finally feel like I can breathe." Nathaniel smiled warmly. "You deserve it." Alyssa looked at him curiously. "Why were you so nice today, after laughing at me earlier?" Nathaniel took a moment before answering. "Because watching you stand there, hoping for even a small amount, made me realize how much I take for granted. And when I saw your balance, it humbled me. Life can change in a second, for any of us." Alyssa smiled for the first time that day. "Thank you for staying with me." "Thank you," he said. "For reminding me what matters." As the bus arrived, Alyssa stepped onto the first step, then turned back one last time. "I hope your life changes too, Nathaniel. For the better." He nodded. It already did. The doors closed. The bus pulled away. And Nathaniel watched it disappear, knowing he had witnessed something rare, something real. A girl who had nothing, discovering she had everything. A millionaire who had everything, discovering he had nothing without humility. Two strangers crossing paths for a moment that would stay with them forever. Life can change when you least expect it, and sometimes, the people we underestimate are carrying the biggest stories, the deepest battles, and the strongest hearts.